Hello everyone, it is January 16th. Thank you for joining us at Gen X Cruise Life for Sip, Sail, and Rant.
Some of the stories we have today is Royal Caribbean is ending all Labadee stops in 2026 and they're rolling out their new points loyalty program.
And we're going to tell you about all the bad behaviors that need to end in 2026. I think we've done that before.
I think we have. And straight out of guest services, we have a story of a passenger that showed up at the wrong cruise port. Find out what happened to them. And on this week's John Heald's Inbox of Regret, is it ever okay to wear flip-flops to the main dining room? You decide.
Stick around for all of that and the drink of the week coming up right now. This week's recipe is the famous drink from Royal Caribbean, the lime and coconut.
This is the drink that you get upstairs in that outdoor bar. It's really good. We found this online. You can make the cocktail or the mocktail version of it. The recipe is in the comments below or the description below, and it's also in the community. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button with the notifications so you get the recipe before we go on air and you can join us.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, this is absolutely delightful.
So much better than last week's.
Yeah.
No
Mojito. Yeah.
Yeah, don't try last week's recipe.
We got
This is good.
We got asked if they were really mocktails, and I don't drink alcohol, so mine's always going to be a mocktail. This one over here, for some reason, she was insisting that we didn't film until afternoon today. So let that, do with that what you will with that information. But this is amazing. I can see this blended too.
Yeah, I think this is really good. It's a winner. Give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. In this week's edition of Cruise Headlines We Didn't Make Up, Labadee is being canceled for the entirety of 2026 by Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, so they did that quite a bit over the last couple of years. There's been obviously a lot of upheaval. Labadee's in Haiti. It's a secluded area that Royal Caribbean manages for their cruise passengers, and it's a really great port. People love this port, but when you've got armed resistance going on in Haiti and you've got all those, drug trafficking going on, it hasn't been a safe place for a long time. Last year, I think they went ahead and canceled it about 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever actually went there. They might have, but
it's been a few years.
When we heard this story today, the first thing I said to Suzanne was, haven't they done this already? This is something that we feel like we keep hearing over and over again. And what it is, they canceled it for 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, they canceled it again for another 6 months. Don't quote me on the time frame. Maybe it was 4 months. But they keep doing it. And the end result is that they're never going there.
But in the meantime, people are booking these passages and they are booking it partially because they like to go to Labadee.
Right.
And you do see a lot of complaints in the Facebook groups and the cruise groups talking about, well, now we're going to Nassau, or we have another day at sea, or we're going wherever. So people that have been there before love this port. It's a beautiful port,
and
but it's not safe.
They have a tremendous amount of security, their own security there.
They do.
Outside of whatever is being provided by Haiti. So it's a pretty safe place, but even still, there's so much going on that they just said, we're not doing it.
It's not a straight shot to Port-au-Prince. I mean, you have to take these winding roads, and it's a couple hours by road from Labadee to the capital where all the violence is, but they still don't want to take any chances with a couple thousand cruise passengers. Right, and sticking with Royal Caribbean, they came out with a new loyalty program that I know you're excited about. Well, this is really interesting. As you know, Royal Caribbean, there's 3 sister lines. It's Royal, it's Celebrity, and it's Silversea, right? Okay, so Silversea is the very high-end cruise line that goes to some beautiful ports. So what they're doing now is you can take your loyalty points that you've earned on any one of those 3 cruise lines and apply it to any one of those 3 cruise lines. So this is fantastic. This is fantastic. So for example, if you are a Royal or Celebrity cruiser that goes on those ships quite a bit and you have a high loyalty status, you can not only transfer your status to a Silversea cruise, for example, and be whatever that equivalent status is, but now if you go on a Silversea cruise, you don't have to waste your points on their loyalty program if you don't plan on traveling with them again for a couple of years. You could take those points and put them directly into your Celebrity or your Royal bucket. I think it's awesome. It's amazing, and the best part about this is you don't have to designate where you want those points to go. You could go try out the Silver line, the Silversea line, and say, this is my new thing. I want to put my points here. Right. Or it was once, and now I want to go back to Celebrity or Royal. You have 14 days after the cruise to decide where you want those points to go. Which bucket you want it to go to, And that's the biggest winner of the whole deal. And if you don't decide, they're going to put them into whatever cruise line you went on.
It doesn't feel like you can lose. Cruise Hive, a publication dedicated to promoting and sharing stories about the cruise industry, has done a poll on Facebook asking people what are the things they'd like to see go away, bad behaviors go away on cruise ships.
You know what all the bad behaviors are that we're going to talk about, because many of you complain about it and we certainly rant about it.
I think the interesting part is to see where your irritation ranks in the list. I think that's the fun part of all of this.
So the number one was out of control children. As Gen X, this is our biggest annoyances. We're done raising our kids. We've got grandkids now, some of us, and we just don't want to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's mostly kids in hot tubs. That was the biggest complaint.
That was the biggest one. I feel like, just my opinion, we need a little vigilanteism. We as people need to say, hey, where's your parents? Get out. You can't be here. Get out. Get out.
There's just no enforcement on most of these ships, and that's really the problem. They do have rules, they just don't enforce them.
And we've talked about this.
Parents don't enforce them, the cruise ship doesn't enforce them, so it's bad behavior all around.
Starts with bad parenting. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, so that's number one. Number two are the chair hogs.
Yeah.
So we like what Norwegian Cruise Line is doing. We're just reading about that.
Yeah, at 10 a.m. they go around. They look at all the empty chairs that have, a towel or a piece of fruit. Who knew that was a thing? On the chair, and they put a little sticker, and then they go back around 11 a.m. and any chair that still has a sticker and no person in it, that stuff gets removed.
They toss it, yeah.
I think that's still being a little lenient. I think it should be more like
8 or 9 a.m.
8 or 9 a.m. and they should give them about 25 minutes. How long does it take to use the bathroom? I mean, my goodness.
Or grab some food from the buffet and bring it back.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And you're all by yourself and all 5 of your friends are all, away at the same time.
Well, when you go out there at 8 a.m. and every single chair is taken, every single chair has a towel on it, that is ridiculous.
Right, and if it was legitimate, they'd walk up and they'd start to remove stuff, and you go, "Hey, man, that's my wife's stuff. She just went to the bathroom."
There's no one out there.
There's no one. There's 8 chairs in a row, and there's nobody there for 2 hours straight.
Right.
Boot that stuff. Vigilanteism. I'm just saying, cruising vigilanteism without the violence. No, we're not condoning violence at all, right?
Number 3 is poor hygiene. Right. I changed the subject. I'm segueing into number 3. Number 3 is poor hygiene. Yeah.
I thought this, when I first heard this, I thought this was people walking around with BO.
Just people not washing their hands before they go to the buffet or touching the food with their hands. Oh, that's disgusting. Or, this is the most horrible thing. People putting their ugly bare feet up on furniture. It's like, what do you think? This is your living room?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just gross. So people just have no class a lot of the times.
It is grody.
It is grody. It's a very small percentage of the cruise passengers, but they just kind of ruin it for everybody.
Sometimes you see certain cruise ships near the buffet, they've got the restrooms over there, and you see people walk out of the restrooms and try to go in, but on a lot of the cruise ships, they're like, hey, wash your hands.
Washy.
Washy.
Right.
That's the best with the Royal Caribbean and all the songs.
We got the guy out with the guitar.
Yeah.
Singing the wash. You're singing that song for 2 weeks after you get off the ship.
2 weeks. It gets stuck in your head.
So number 4 is smoking. They do have the smoking section on board, and I avoid it like the plague, because you just walk through there and you're just covered. Or the casinos, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's just, if you smoke, it's a free country. You have the right to do, with your body what you want. I just don't do it to mine. I don't want to smell.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the smoking sections as long as they keep it in the smoking sections.
Right.
And I am surprised how a lot of the casinos will have the smoking and the non-smoking, and you walk over into the non-smoking and their ventilation is so good you don't even notice it.
Yeah.
I don't anyway.
Yeah. But that section usually is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as comprehensive gambling opportunities as the smoking, because gambling, smoking, and drinking usually go together.
Like peas and carrots.
Three vices that go hand in hand.
All right,
no judgment.
What's number 5?
Number 5 is, I can't read this without my glasses on. Oh, nickel and diming the guests. The cruise line's nickel and diming. We've seen a lot of that, especially since COVID, right?
Yeah, make bingo free. I don't care.
It's going again, talking about Norwegian Cruise Line. We did a story a couple of months back about how now they're charging for that extra entree.
Yeah.
That's just total nickel and diming.
That really is. That's one of the best parts of cruising, is to go in and get your second entree.
Right.
And most of the time, I'm just going to keep it real. It's not because I didn't like the first one. It's because I wanted a second one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you walk in and it's lobster night and they also have steak on the thing, you order both. Now you have
surf and turf.
Surf and turf. Come on. That's the number one biggest hack on cruising, right? Is the surf and turf.
And most of the servers that we get encourage you to order a second one.
Yeah,
or they just bring it to you.
That's the
because
kind of
they know
cruise-
you like steak, so they just bring you a steak every night.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the cruising I want to do.
Yeah.
Right
That's
there.
awesome. So we don't like the nickel and diming, and we know that you guys complained about that a lot too. And this made it to number 5 on the cruise hive list. Number 6, cruise ducks. Hunting for cruise ducks. We've done some stories on this too. They're harmless, they're fun, but I also think that it's just gone overboard.
I haven't really, I don't feel like I've noticed it be an inconvenience in my life. And when you look at the kids running amok, how big of an issue that is, I think the cruise ducks is a pretty small issue. Yeah.
The people are very passionate about it.
Yeah.
The people that love this thing, it's a thing. And the people that are into it this is the hill they're going to die on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that did make number 6. Obviously, some people are annoyed by it. And number 7, sloppy dressing in the main dining room.
Yeah, I think
Pajamas and other things.
I think our follow-up to this story is, we'll touch on that a little bit. How do you feel about that? What do you think about shorts in the main dining room?
So cruising has changed a lot. Okay, so before COVID, 90s, even the 2000s, people dressed up for the main dining room. There were nights where you would see people in tuxedos, and people still do that. And if that's what you're into, fantastic, do it. We don't like to dress up. No, we don't. I mean, we're not going to wear shorts and be all sloppy and stuff, but you're going to wear a dress shirt and maybe a tie, but you're not going to bring a full suit. And you're definitely not going to bring a tuxedo.
Right.
Right? So we're there for comfort. We're there to enjoy ourselves. And part of that is not putting on those fancy clothes.
Yeah, but a dress shirt, slacks, nice shoes,
Yes.
that's the bare minimum, I
Nice
think.
sandals, nice dress, absolutely. I'll wear a nice wrap, but I'm not putting on an evening gown, like a prom dress. I'm not doing that.
And on the flip side, as I think you just mentioned, we're not wearing flip-flops.
Not wearing flip-flops. Shorts, never. Tank tops, never. And there are some people that dress kind of sloppy in the main dining room. It doesn't bother me. I mean, whatever. It's your vacation. You paid for it. It's not going to ruin my vacation if you choose not to dress, nice.
I think the part to remember is that it's not that you're being forced to dress up to dinner. You can absolutely go to the buffet wearing a wife beater and shorts and flip-flops.
Absolutely. Now, we did go on a Holland America cruise last year where we saw people being turned away.
Yeah, in the main dining room, they said no. You couldn't, and there was a lot of people who were dressed very nice but happened to be in shorts, and they said nope. Flip-flops are the perfect segue into our next weekly segment called John Heald's Inbox of Regret. You couldn't pay me. You just couldn't. You couldn't pay me.
So this cruise passenger wrote to John Heald, I don't know if it was an email or on Facebook, asking if it's appropriate to wear flip-flops to the main dining room. And John Heald's answer was something like, I have the fashion sense of a yak, so I'm the wrong person to ask. But let us know what you think. Is it a flip-flop? Is it a sandal? What differentiates it?
And I think that's the story here too, is that it sparked a conversation about what constitutes a flip-flop.
Right, right.
And somebody had one that I thought was fantastic, was if it slaps the bottom of your heel when you're walking and making that flip-flop sound, it's a flip-flop.
That's a flip-flop.
If it doesn't and stays tight to your foot, it's a sandal.
It's a sandal, yeah.
I like that. I think that works. Yeah.
We do see people in the main dining room wearing those. It's a flat sandal that separates your toes. But it's technically a flip-flop, right?
And without getting sexist, I don't think anybody's going to care that I say this, but I think it's different for women than it is for men.
Yes, definitely.
There's sandals that are kind of flip-floppy,
Yes.
that women wear, and if you're wearing a nice sundress and it's lunchtime in the main dining room, that seems perfectly fine.
Not formal night, and maybe it's got a little bit of a heel to it and some jewels, some bedazzled.
Yeah, but if you're some dude
leather.
walking around with your snaggle toe hanging out and from under, no.
Keep that at home. Put a sock on it.
Cover it up, brother. Cover it up.
Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, so what constitutes a flip-flop? Let us know in the comments below and tell us what you think. Is it ever appropriate to wear flip-flops in the main dining room? The respondents to John Heald's post definitely said it was not appropriate.
Agreed.
Yeah.
In this week's edition of Straight Out of Guest Services,
We have a passenger that went to the wrong cruise port. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
She was traveling on Utopia of the Seas. And she was a frequent Royal Caribbean passenger, so she just assumed.
Well, she was trying to sail on Utopia of the Seas.
She didn't make
work
it.
out, yeah.
She just assumed that Utopia was leaving out of the port she'd always left out of, which was Port Lauderdale. Right, but she was wrong.
She was wrong. It was supposed to go out of Canaveral, or it did go out of Canaveral. When she discovered this, or we actually I don't think we know who it was. We don't have a name or anything, but it was a Reddit post, and it was confirmed by Royal. So when she figured this out, it was noon. Ship was leaving at 4. It's a 3-hour drive, but of course, by the time you throw some traffic in there, and then trying to go through the checkpoint and all that, it's not going to happen.
Well, and you have to also arrange for transportation. You have to either get an Uber or rent a car.
Right.
Right. So there's that involved too.
So the next step was to see if she could join the ship the next day at Nassau.
Right. So she made the request out of Royal. She contacted Royal, and they got back to her and said no.
Now that's been done before. It's happened before.
Yeah.
They've agreed to it, but it has to do with the Port Authority.
And the Port Authority, in the email that she got back, or he got back from Royal, it said the Port Authority was the one that denied boarding.
Yeah, and
we're not sure why.
Well, and they alluded to that the reasoning wasn't good enough.
The reason to miss it. It wasn't like, it was a delayed flight or canceled flight. Right. She went to the wrong port.
That's an expensive mistake. And now, confessions from the Lido deck. We've got some comments from last
week's.
Yeah, we wanted to highlight.
All the comments were on the straw controversy.
Yeah.
On Carnival, how they have paper straws and they don't give them out. They're cheap with them.
I'd have got a straw if I had to go over it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. From Fire Medic 356, Carnival and John Heald just suck. I'm just reading.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm just reading it. The only good thing is enforcing the kid issues. I'm starting to bring my own reusable plastic straws.
Good move.
I'm leaving for another cruise tomorrow. You guys always have great content, and I really like the addition of the different drinks with recipes. Well, all right.
Try this one. It's a lot better than the one from last week. And come back and tell us how the cruise went, where you went, what cruise line you took.
Fire Medic, that's a great reminder to take a little drinksky-winksky. Tripod Cat 3 commented, if that passenger had the drink package, they could have just said, okay then, make me a frozen drink, and then taken a straw out of the drink and walked away. Just be petty. Whatever it takes. I'm just saying, whatever it takes.
I like your level of pettiness.
Yeah.
I really, cheers to you. Love
Yeah,
it.
it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah. So make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button with the notifications so you will be here to join us next week.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It means the world to us.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, comment, notification, push all the little thingies.
Leave us a comment. We read all of them, respond to them, and maybe we'll read yours next week. Cheers.